Alrighty, we got finally these catapults working, but when you have the under 14s, 12s, and under 8s, the city team, it's a learning process for all of us and trying to get into the process of ensuring that these players rock up and put them on, and we're working it out. But this is going to be a bit of a rundown of why we're going to be using it and what sort of stuff we can kind of see with it. For me, it's going to be about motivating you guys. So you can go, for example, Corbin and Ethan right now, they're at similar level, and they can probably go, man, Ethan's better than me by just a little bit. Can I work harder next time? Or we'll see by top speed who's faster. Okay, can I work to be faster than that player? Can I work to run more than that player? Can I work harder than him? And you can kind of compete against each other week in, week out, and go who performs the best, who performs, who puts in the most effort, who's the fastest, etc. On another scale, it's about, can we see the progress over a year? But also, this is data from one game. If we can get data from a whole year, we can kind of really see your weaknesses, your strengths, and what you need to work on and that sort of stuff, and give you direction. Another flip side, long term, if you want to go to a different, get a trial, get a club, that sort of stuff, we can use this data and say, hey, look, this is his output. This is the type of player he is. You can see his top speed. You can see how much he works throughout a season or throughout a game. And it's another way of getting your foot in the door, mixed with a bit of video footage of your performances, of your games, which you can download with the VO. You can download your highlights and that sort of stuff and make your own little highlight footage, which is very important in regards to trying to get trials, trying to get places. So that's one aspect. Number two, gives us ways to give you feedback. So for players that we keep saying, you need to work more off the ball, you need to defend more, you need to put in better tackles. We can see objectively and go, you can see as well and go, well, look, to be fair, an under 8's working harder than me. Maybe Kyle's right. Maybe I'm not working off the ball because my distance is very low. Maybe I'm not tackling hard because my impacts are 0. And we're going to get there and we'll explain as we go. But these are some things why we want to use it. So here you can see total distance of who ran the most, who ran little. You can see Cameron's a goalkeeper, so of course he didn't run much. Harmon, for some reason, he's actually got a lot of Ks. Maybe I didn't trim the warm-up enough and we got a lot of the warm-up stuff. Who knows? Because that's the only reason I could manage to understand that. Or once again, if you put on the wrong pod, so if, for example, if you put on the wrong pod, if Ali put on Harmon's pod, then this is actually Ali's stats rather than Harmon's stats. So it's very important that you put on the correct pod. So you look at it, find your name, put it in the back of your thing correctly. Okay, otherwise it stuff everybody, and we don't get the right stats. But we'll try to ensure that we do this better. But this is just a tester. Sprint distance. So this is who sprints the most in a game. So there's one, people can just walk around slowly for the whole game and get lots of distance, but this is the one who's actually sprinting and working hard, which is honestly way more important. And so Ethan is destroyed everyone by miles because he goes from 0 to 100 really quickly. But it's might be the fact that you are sprinting, but the pod's not picking it up, because you may feel like you're sprinting, but your speed hasn't increased much from your normal pace. So for example, in Marco's situation, I know he works pretty hard, but it might be the fact that because he doesn't have that change of speed, it doesn't recognize it. So it might reinforce the Marco, okay, maybe I have to really work on my speed, because I know I'm running. I can see in his face he's running, he's working hard, but it doesn't pick it up on the pod because his normal running to his sprint running is the same. So that picking up the sprint speed is something to think about, something we need to work on. Corbin's put in a good shift, Harry's put in a good shift, Luke a good shift, but that's something, this stat I don't care too much about, okay, because it depends on your actual speed. So I'm showing you all the metrics today, but we'll be focusing on just a few each week, because obviously I don't want to take up all your time as well. So this is how much effort you're putting in, because this is how much energy you're burning. So Ethan's running the most, Corbin's running the most, Sebastian ran the most, Nicola ran a lot, Harry ran a lot, Harmon, I think someone else wore your pod. It makes because you're a goalkeeper. You shouldn't be right. You should be where Cameron is in goals. So I think someone else used Harmon's pod. Luca, good. Marco. So you can see how Marco burnt a lot of calories. He worked hard, but his sprint distance was like next to 0. As you can see, it was like 0. So it's just a sign of, okay, that acceleration, that speed we need to work on with him, which is why this sort of stuff can be useful to see. Wow, it's that much of a difference that I need to work on. And as you get to the under 8s, you can kind of see where they probably ran less went less distance, so that's why they burnt less calories. And Cameron's there, obviously, the goalkeeper. RJ, impact. So this is something I talk about in terms of tackling hard, going in strong. RJ, that's probably why I was on Team of the Week. He put in a really good, strong shift in terms of stealing that ball. Harmon, once again, not sure if he had the correct pot on. Corbin, good tackling. Ethan, good. Stead, putting in a good shift. If you're on the lower end, okay, it might be meaning you're not actually putting your body into the defender when tackling. You might be just sticking a toe out. You might not be tackling at all. And for a lot of you, I would say this is true. Nicola, I wouldn't say this is true, but maybe you tackle with just your foot, which could be true actually, rather than you putting your whole body in, where you just stick one toe out and hope you get it with your legs. So what we try to say is put your arm on their chest when you tackle, and then stick your foot in and steal the ball. Too many of us would just stick a toe out and then hope that we get the ball, which doesn't work. So we know this is the case with Kobe. You kind of give up and you don't tackle properly. We know that. Luca, well, I actually say you do put a good shift in, but it might, you could always go in harder. And Henry, definitely the same case where we're not putting a foot in, we're not putting our body in, we're not actually tackling hard. Rosa, I actually wouldn't say the case. I think Rosa goes in pretty hard. So, once again, this is only from one match. Maybe there was just no one to tackle in that game. Maybe you never got the ball. So over a course of a year or many games, we can get a better idea of what type of player you are and what your weaknesses and strengths are. Top speed, who's the fastest? Ethan is the fastest. Nicola is second. Well done, Nicola. Corbin, then Luca. So, and then RJ, etc. So this is top speed, but once again, we have to ensure that we wear the right pods, and this is only one game. So maybe one kid just got a massive adrenaline rush and run like crazy, and he got that top speed. Okay, where if we actually put two people in a race, someone else might be faster. But in saying that, if you actually are a fast player but you haven't got the top speed here, it might mean you're not actually trying hard enough in a game. You're not actually sprinting in the game. You're kind of just going through the motions, kind of running but not putting a full sprint in. Because if I said you race you and see who's the fastest, you go full out and might actually win that race. But in the game, you might not be putting that same intensity and effort in the match. Okay. So once again, you can see your speed down here, who is the fastest and not. Distance per minute, so who's running the most per minute. So throughout the whole entire game, per minute, who's putting in a lot of shift. Once again, not something, maybe I probably care about this more than the distance, the total distance. I probably care about distance per minute the most, more than the other one. So this is who's working the most per minute, putting in a good shift, running the most as throughout the whole game. Once again, Cameron should be there. Ailey, maybe we're not working hard enough. Caden, maybe we're not working hard enough. Sometimes you get caught standing watching the whole time. Luke, that might be the case with you. RJ, maybe it's just because you're in defense a lot and sometimes you're watching. Something we want you to work on is pushing up and supporting the attackers when you're defending and our teammate has the ball. Can you come up and help your attackers? Once again, not a metric I care too much about. This one I do. It kind of shows your intensity on who's putting in the most force, who's sprinting the most, who's actually who's trying the hardest. So here we can see Ethan, Corbin, Nicola, Harry, they've always been up here. Marco, we've actually now seen he's up there. So he's working hard, he's pushing hard, but it's just that speed element, that sprint element, that top speed element is lacking. So we can see that. Lee, good, no dramas, and throughout you can kind of see the younger you get, the less intensity you have. Luca, we'd like to see you. Could you get a little bit higher up this pitch, up this grass? So can you try to put in a big shift? And like I said to you, your fitness is what's lacking. The athleticism is lacking a little bit in terms of you get tired and then you slow down and that sort of stuff. Something we have spoken to each other about previously. Nicola, once again, absolutely smashing it. So work ratio. I'm going to pause 1 sec so I can find the actual definition. Alright, so quickly just got this up. So work ratio is kind of the percentage of how long the person is working for versus how long they're resting for. So it's a good measurement. Like I said for Marco, just not pick on Marco, this is actually a good thing, is as we said, it didn't pick up his sprint distance because he didn't hit enough speed to pick up. But you can see he's one of the hardest working players in the team. So we're going to find the metrics that makes the most sense in terms of showing what we want to see out of players. So work ratio is definitely something we want to see. And you might see some of our players that do kind of daydream ball watch when the ball's not near them. Okay, Cameron's here because he's the goalkeeper. Ailey, something we noticed, maybe when the ball's not near her, she kind of gives up or doesn't focus. Henry, Joshua, Caden, same thing, where we start ball watching. Harmon's a goalkeeper, so it makes sense. RJ, sometimes when it's you play defense, you work hard, but when the ball goes up to attack, you're not pushing up and helping. You kind of just stay at your penalty box. We want you to push up and help. Luca, once again, defense, maybe the same issue where you get tired, your fitness lacks, so then you chill out, try to get your breath back. Nemanja, same thing, you get caught ball watching sometimes. Oscar, once again at defense, as soon as the ball goes up to attack, you kind of sit back and watch. And then the rest of the 14s that know how to play football the most, then you can start seeing they're working really hard, so it's good to see. Max deceleration and acceleration. So deceleration and acceleration. So this is just, once again, about a speed thing. This might be better. Oh, no, both are good. And just quickly, I just got a new metric so we could see. Oh, where'd it go? Okay, we got a better one. So you can see how fast you went in terms of kilometers. Before it was meters per second. I didn't like. So this is kilometers. So Ethan, once again, if he were to show this to a club will go, damn, that guy's running 28 kilometers an hour. He might be a really good talent that we want to pick up or at least look at. So that's why these things can be important when we go, hey, look, this is the player's stats. He runs 30 kilometers an hour, so to speak. This is his work ratio. This is blah, blah, blah. And it's a really good selling point to, whatever you want to do in terms of getting to a club or trials or whatever. Nicola is rapid. Honestly, I never noticed, but Nicola is rapid. He's a rapid guy. His stats are really up there. So either he's rapid, which I actually never even picked up on. So that's awesome to see. Also, I'll use this pod. But no, I'd say he's definitely good. Put a good shift in. Well done, Nicola. Really impressive. Keep it up. Cool. Going back to acceleration, deceleration. So acceleration meaning going from 0 to 100, and then deceleration is going from 100 to 0. So slowing down. And these are both important. These are about agility. So how quickly can I close down that defender? But as I close down the defender, I have to slow down again. And then if he beats me, I've got to accelerate again. So football is acceleration, deceleration. It's probably more important than top speed. More important. But it's good to see again. Ethan's still up here. And we actually see RJ. He slows down really quickly. So Ethan's faster, but RJ slows down and closes down the player really, really well. Or he goes from 100 to 0 really well because he goes 100 into a tackle and stops dead still. That probably is another answer to that. But still, very good, where he's tackling hard, going in strong, which is why he was on Team of the Week. Did really awesome. So these are just a quick little rundown of the metrics. Over the course of the year or multiple games, you'll kind of get an idea of what type of player you really are. Are you a fast player? Are you a strong player? Do you tackle hard? Are you a lazy player? Is your work ratio slow, and as soon as the ball's not near you, give up? Are you always working hard? It can show you if you're fit, if you're fast, and that sort of stuff. So this is why we invest in this, just to show you and keep track of this sort of stuff. I think it's also a good learning tool and maybe a good motivational tool. Go, man, I want to be top. I want to be a faster player than Ethan. I want to work harder than RJ. I want to be on the top of this graph. Okay, or you just might want to beat one teammate that you're friends with. Go, I'm better than you. Haha, blah blah blah. So that sort of stuff. Obviously not mean. It's just a joking thing where you just friendly competitiveness. Yeah. Cool. Easy enough. End it on there.